We are here on Marion Island, and I'm here with Megan. She loves killer whales and dolphins, and this is why I'm talking to her. I actually just want to find out where did her fascination come from with dolphins and killer whales. Like, where did it all start?
Well, my family enjoyed fishing, so we went to the beach a lot, went out on the water a lot, did a lot of fishing. And I was on the boat since I was 5, but before that I was in the ocean when I was 3, and just always loved the ocean.
Yeah.
And when I was on the boats, you see turtles go by, whales, dolphins. A whale shark once came onto the gunnel of our boat, and it was really cool. I wanted to go touch it. My mom held me back. And I used to sit there waving at the dolphins.
How old were you when this? When you wanted to touch it?
I think I was about 6, 7.
Yeah.
And then I used to sit on the boat waving to dolphins, and they used to come by and under the boat in their huge pods, and they're so beautiful and calming, and I just love them. And in Durban there was SeaWorld, and my mom got us a pass, and we used to go on the behind the scenes tours. So we used to see where, and they used to do the talks about how dolphins sleep, and we used to see them sleeping there. There's this one dolphin called Gambit, and it was really old and really big, bottlenose dolphin. And he was sleeping while they were explaining how dolphins sleep. It was really interesting and cool. And then so I just loved dolphins from a very young age.
Loved it from when they took you on a tour, or?
Yeah, they took you on a tour behind the scenes and explained things, and you got to see the dolphins in the show. And I mean, now looking back, aquariums, the whole debate, but it actually sparked an interest in me, like seeing the tanks and all that, and the jellyfish, just everything marine biology.
Yeah.
And then also David Attenborough. I love the ocean ones, were my favorite.
Yes,
his ocean episodes.
Most people would always say that.
Yeah.
But David Attenborough had a big impact on, I don't know, the love of nature, basically. Yeah, but I know aquariums these days get this bad rep, but it's like you said, it actually, even though sometimes it feels like they're abusing the animals, they actually motivate you to, I don't know, to love the animals.
It does. I think the sad thing is for mammals, the big mammals in aquariums, that's, I think...
Yeah, because they're so massive and they need to be in a tank, and I don't feel that's...
Sad, and also they get bored. They're very intelligent, so they get bored, and it's just, they're supposed to be out in the wild. I mean, I suppose you could say the same about jellyfish, but they seem to be quite content in a small cage, or small tank.
Yeah.
But the big ones, I think, is a bit sad. But it depends also on the aquariums. There's some that are really bad, and then there's some that are really good. Like there's seal sanctuaries that take care of seals that are injured, but some of them aren't good. They don't take care of their tanks, while others do. Same as zoos.
Yeah.
All those kinds of... So it's like
it's like the other thing I heard the other day. You always get a bad apple on each of the organizations, and then it gives a bad rep for everyone in that or that field of work. So, but I haven't been to actually many aquariums. I've only been to the Two Oceans Aquarium in Cape Town. I haven't been to Durban's aquarium.
It's Ushaka now.
Yeah.
Oh, it's nice. They did it really nicely, and the tanks were big, but they could be bigger.
They could be bigger.
They could be, especially for the dolphins. That's a big thing.
So they have dolphins there? Do they have any other mammals? It's mainly dolphins.
They have seals, and they have bottlenose dolphins.
Is it the Cape Fur seal? What seals?
I
Can
don't
you
know
remember?
anymore. I haven't been since I was like 13.
Oh, okay.
That was a long time ago.
Okay, so that sparked your appreciation and love for
Yeah, they also had these. I used to go for my birthdays to like the KwaZulu-Natal Sharks Board, and they used to do dissections and teach. Like, it was a nice learning program that they had. Then I did the same Madushaka in grade 9. I went for an oceanography mini course, and they take you through dissections and taking care of the tanks and that kind of thing. And because they also do a lot of rehabilitation there, so species come in, they rehabilitate them, and then they send them back out.
Yeah.
They've got a section there, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, if I think about it, like especially marine animals, I think everyone who sees them for the first time has this like, yo, it's an amazing thing, because it's not something you can see every day in your day-to-day life. Like, if you compare it to mammals and stuff, if you can drive in a Kruger or drive in a field, you'll see a hare, jump across the road, or you'll see some form of wildlife, but like a marine animal you don't really see, and when you see it, it's like, yo, it just gives that spark of like, yo, that's cool, and you feel like it's so rare to see something like that. And I think that's why I can understand why it can make or spark a love for the field and for the marine animals.
Yeah, it's surreal how they come past and like they just pop out of nowhere, and it's like just graceful and beautiful, and then they go and you want them to come back.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you said, it's rare.
Yeah. Okay. And from there, how did you continue with it? How did you?
Well, I wanted to be in school, because they ask you those questions in grade 9 and stuff, and you do projects on what you might want to be. And I wanted to be a national, like from David Attenborough, National Geographic. So I wanted to be maybe a photographer for them, or a videographer. But that kind of. Then I was interested in journalism at one stage. But then I also really liked mysteries and murder mysteries. So then I was thinking more towards a microbiologist, biotechnologist, or that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Not a pathologist, though.
Not a pathologist.
No, I'd rather do the lab stuff.
Why not a pathologist?
I'd rather deal with animals and plants. And
you don't like the disease
and people.
People.
Dissecting people.
Oh. Well, you can do a pathologist in animals, can't you not?
Yeah, I can do necropsies, which I have done.
Okay.
And that's very interesting.
Necropsies, what's that?
Necropsies. So it's like an autopsy book for animals.
Is that what you call it?
Yeah.
Necropsy. Okay.
So actually I did that at my one internship, and that was really interesting. I wish I could continue. Maybe I will, I don't know.
Yeah, but what type of bacteria do you find there in the necropsy?
Lots.
Okay.
I don't know the specific names. Like I said, I'd like to maybe go into that study, but I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen.
And then you went with the observation.
So then I enjoy art. So then I was thinking more like graphic design or something. But then I was told maybe pick science and have the others as backups, because trying to get back into science can be hard.
Mm-hmm.
Get your brain into it again. So I went with biotechnology. Then halfway through, since I was 6, I always told my mom marine biologist. And then things just happened in my first year of university that by second semester I was like, nope, I'm changing my major to marine biology. And I think that's just
what was your major initially?
Microbiology.
Yeah. So it was that. Okay.
So then I went
That's
into
interesting.
marine biology.
So your mother felt like that was your passion from the start, and she wanted you to follow your passion, basically.
Yeah. She never told us what to do. She always said, choose what you want to do.
Which is great. I feel like that's how every parent should be. She give you the opportunity to choose, Yeah. I hate it when people force you into a career and if the basis about it is for money, which is stupid, because you can make money in any career. You just need to be smart. You need to know how to take your opportunities.
Yeah, I agree.
It's not about the certain career makes more money, maybe more easily, because if you study hard and you get it, then is that really what you want in life? You really just want to go do something you don't like just for the money. I don't understand that. So I like it when people just tell you, just go do what you want, go enjoy it, have fun.
I agree.
That's the whole point of life at the end of the day. Okay, so you changed it to marine biology.
Yeah, but then I still took my electives, you get electives, so I still did my electives in microbiology, biotechnology.
I also had a microbiology. I actually enjoyed it. Bacteria, we did viruses, some fungi, not a lot. We had a very good lecturer. I can't remember his name now, but he was just, you can remember your name, and there was like there was like 400 students in the class. You had 2 classes, and then it's 200 in the class, I think. And he can remember my name, because I saw him again in my masters, and he remembered me in his class. He was just a great guy, and he taught such passion for bacteria. So
that's always great. People are passionate about it.
Yeah.
I remember I had a lecturer at GK, and he just, every lecture you go to, he just made you want to do more. He inspired you to know more and do more. And
that's exactly what a lecturer should do, should inspire.
GK Moodley.
GK Moodley. No, I haven't heard today. She or a he? He.
Yeah. At UKZN.
Okay. And from there, what happened then? Did you get your...
No. I wish. No. They never tell you that, you study, and you rarely get the opportunity, or some of us, really get the opportunity to go straight into what we've studied for.
Yes.
So I did do the whole DEMI at the university for year 1, 2, and 3. But then I needed some more financial support, so I had to get another job. So I was working as a DEMI, and then my brother was working for one of our old teammates swimming, Troyden Princeton, and then he left and sold his business to another guy, and he was looking for a swimming teacher. So I said, hey, my sister, swimmer, she can teach. And so then I got the swimming teaching job. And that actually helped me a lot. That helped me with people. I know I was teaching children, but also their parents, and just interacting with people. That was a good learning.
Do you think the swimming, because I know you have a passion for for swimming. Did it come from the passion for marine biology as well? Or do you think you just loved swimming as well? It just came hand in hand.
Hand in hand, like I said, when I was always at the beach. My mom took me to the beach. Actually, she told me a story when I was still a baby, so I was still crawling. I don't know how exactly old I was. And she said she took me to the beach, and you know how parents hold you between their legs?
Yes.
And they bounce you up and down in the waves. And she said she didn't realize, and this massive wave hit me and rolled me up, pushed me out of her hands and rolled me up the beach. And she thought, oh no, now I'm gonna hate water. I'm gonna cry and scream and throw a tantrum. And she said, I just sat up, looked at the ocean, and crawled back. So I've always just loved water. I used to apparently fall asleep when she used to bath me, and
that's interesting, because
so even when that first teacher she took me to, and the teacher just threw me in when I was 3. She thought that was it. And she's like, no, I feel like water.
It depends on the energy, right? Because when you were probably at the beach, your mother wasn't forcing you to go in. It was just like an accident that happened.
Yeah, a total accident.
So, but out of my experience, when I had a fear of water, and still kind of have a fear of water, because I almost drowned when I was young because somebody pushed me in for a joke. So the energy there was awful. So now I have this bad energy with water. But it's not as bad anymore. It was bad when I was younger. But I was really afraid of water. But now I don't mind. Yeah.
It sucks when somebody does that and
Yeah.
destroy something for you.
Yeah, it's just interesting that you say.
But then so even when you get like, dunked in the water and stuff, I just always went back to it.
Yeah, you just went back
Yeah.
because you just enjoy it so much.
Yeah, and then it became my sport. I had to choose a sport. Yeah, so I chose swimming, obviously.
Mm.
And then, I did some competing. And, I went hand in hand really with Marine.
Mm.
Yeah.
Did you ever have the opportunity to swim with a dolphin or
No,
anything like that?
No, I haven't.
No.
I kind of wish I did, but at the same time, I do respect their. But I wish I did. I wish I did have that experience.
Yeah.
Maybe I will.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Hopefully. No.
Well, someday maybe.
So, you told me before about that observational dolphin stuff you did. Was it in Wales? It was in Wales?
Oh,
Where
yeah,
was it?
I had an internship with the Sea-Watch Foundation in Wales, Newquay.
Now, how did that work? Like, if you can explain how the science, what's the goal of it, and...
So it is a charity and a conservation group. It was started a long time ago.
Yeah.
Can't remember the exact date now.
Doesn't matter.
But the guy who started it, Peter Evans, Dr. Peter Evans, he created a specific species protection area for bottlenose dolphins in Newquay because they seem to use that bay as a nursery area. So a lot of mother and calves come there to feed and so it's a protected bay. So and then they established a watch, and it's just built on from there. And
so it's just like a monitoring to see how many, how are they doing.
Yeah.
Just to keep an eye on them.
Yeah. So obviously, then there's studies associated with it, and he's a lecturer at Bangor University there in Wales, and so he has students with projects, and they
Like
come
what
collect
type of
the
studies?
data.
Like behavioral
studies.
diet?
Yeah, mostly behavioral studies. Yeah.
Okay.
And then we did also opportunistic for any other cetaceans. Harbour porpoise is also a big one because they're the harbour porpoises.
What is that?
It was a little porpoise.
A little porpoise.
Porpoise.
A porpoise.
Yeah, so you have dolphins, whales, and porpoises.
Yeah, I don't know what a porpoise is. Do you get porpoises in South Africa?
Don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I think there is one. I can't remember the species.
Porpoise. I don't even know what a porpoise is. So it looks like a dolphin.
So it does, but they're genetically slightly different. And I mean, you get the pink river. I know those are dolphins. But you do get porpoises, and they usually have like longer beaks or they're smaller. So the harbour porpoise is 1 meter, whereas the bottlenose dolphins are about 4 meters.
4 meters. Yeah.
So yeah, they do attack them.
Do they eat them?
Unfortunately.
Or is it just
there hasn't been really evidence of eating that I can remember, but
they just don't like they attack
them. Yeah.
Makes sense. It's like a threat to each other.
Not to each other, just the bottlenose is a threat to them.
Oh, so the porpoise attacks the bottlenose?
No, the bottlenose is a threat to the porpoise, meaning they attack the porpoise.
Oh.
Sorry.
That's fine.
But it could be competition for food, it could just be... Yeah.
And this is like stuff you guys have observed?
So we saw them chasing them and attacking.
It's interesting.
There was one person I think got them throwing the porpoise up in the air.
Sure.
Yeah, because they're very strong. And then, while we were there, actually, one of the bottlenose was trying to take the porpoise's baby away. So, you could see it like trying to push the baby away, and the mother was following. So, it's an interesting thing to study. It'd be interesting to see. But then we also did for seals.
For seals as well. What seals do you get there?
You get grey seals and it's harbor seals.
Harbor seals.
Yeah.
They're like a cosmopolitan in Europe or
Mostly Arctic.
Arctic.
Northern hemisphere. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then before I actually got to the internship, there was this walrus that was visiting around the UK.
Nice.
So, caused a lot of damage to people's property because he'd just haul out onto their boats and crush things.
And crash it.
Yeah.
He doesn't care.
Well, he's a walrus.
So
He's finding his spot in the sun.
Oh, so they'll just go onto boats.
Yeah.
Yo.
Well, this one did. Yeah.
That's interesting.
It's quite funny, yeah. And then they do have also a contract in North Wales with one of the wind farm facilities, and they're employed to do surveys, so ecological surveys, so map the number of seals there are and any cetaceans. So you just take the GPS coordinates and their direction they're heading, how many, their behavior, and see the activity around the wind farms. So I do know they were trying to get another... Is it because
the wind farms make a noise and the cetaceans don't like it, or...
Well, that's what they're trying to see.
They want to see, because I've heard of... I listened to another podcast before, I can't remember which one now, but there's like... They said like the wind farms cause a noise, and then the whales... I read it somewhere, was it a podcast? I can't remember. But I read it somewhere, and the whales don't like to come back to breed because the wind farms make such a racket.
Well, that's what they're trying to see, how much impact the wind farm is actually having on that ecosystem.
And is it a massive wind farm? It's like,
yeah, it is.
If you have to guess how many hectares, or...
Oh, I can't remember, but
like they did at least more than 1,000 wind turbines, or
possibly,
or less.
Yeah, possibly 1,000.
Okay,
so it's quite big.
So it's big.
Yeah, they are quite distant, like quite far apart, obviously. But I think it's also to see with the current change and also associated with seabirds. But actually, it was quite weird because while we were going on it, I observed a lot of seabirds and cormorants actually nesting on top.
On top of a wind turbine?
Yeah, because they don't always spin, so it depends on the direction and stuff. So it was quite funny,
That's quite...
So it's interesting ironic to see, how quickly they adapt to their new environment. But then that's also the point, to see what impact they are having. That's
a good thing that you're bringing that up, because I've always heard bad things about wind turbines, that it kills the birds. But what you just said might be that at the initial start the birds die, but maybe they get used to it, and then they don't go there anymore, or they don't fly there anymore because they know, shit, we're gonna die if we go there.
Maybe, I can't tell you. That's why monitoring is so important.
Exactly. I think monitoring is quite important to see how the birds react, and
it's an interesting study
animals,
too. Watching them.
So if you observe the dolphins there now, like, do you count, or do you like follow a pod of dolphins, or you...
So with that kind of monitoring, we do line transects. So there's the boat will follow a transect, and then within that transect you look 90 degrees in the front, and depending on the survey, sometimes you'll have the primary, which is 90 degrees at the front, and then you'll have an independent, and that's 90 degrees at the back. You usually have two observers. That's why it's 90. I forgot about that. So it's from zero, from the front of the boat to the side, and then the other person will be to the other side, and then the same with the independent to the back. So
you just stand there and see how many, or sit there and see how many you can see.
So once they surface, you get the GPS coordinates, the direction, the number, and their behavior, and
how long is this transect? Like, how many kilometers?
Yeah, it's kilometers.
It's far.
Yeah, so sometimes you're sitting on a transect for like half an hour.
Yeah.
So it all depends on the research area and stuff.
So you do like a transect, and then you do another transect.
Yeah, so for that one we had to do a transect going out, and then we had to go around to the next transect, and that's when you get your break, and then you do the next transect. We also did that at the internship. We had some line transects on some days. So you're out on the boat for like from
It's opportunistic
6
kind
o'clock.
of, right?
Yeah. Well, no, that's dedicated.
It's dedicated because
Yeah,
you're going
watching.
for a dedicated
Yeah.
watcher. But do you do like opportunistic work for birds maybe as well? If you like see weird birds, or is it just for focused
for
on
own interest sake, but it's mostly focused
marine
on
mammals?
marine mammals.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I think they have a separate one for birds.
They have a separate
Yeah,
one.
because I know in the one I did in Ireland, they had a separate bird survey, and then you kind of did the opportunistic dolphin on that one, and then you have the dolphin, and some people did opportunistic birding, but yeah.
Does Wales and Ireland, like their species, do they like differ, like the amount? If you had to compare, because you did at Ireland and Wales, is it different species or the same?
Well, I'd say the dolphins, the bottlenose dolphins, are the same. Like there were some that came from Scotland to Ireland, and they stayed. Yeah, there were 3 that stayed. Kind of got boxed in from the other dolphins, but yeah, they got left behind, and they're staying there now. They're in Phoenix Bay, and but I'd say the whales I saw in Wales were mostly just minkies. But then again, we didn't go too far out. Yeah, the northern minky whale.
Northern minky.
Yeah.
You get a southern minky here.
Yeah, a southern minky here. And which I actually saw.
You saw it?
Yeah, I saw here on one of my first watches. In the distance.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Yeah, and then, there was just, I think there's more on the west side there in Ireland, because there was a sperm whale that came into one of the bays, and
I've never seen a sperm whale.
humpbacks, and I haven't seen one in real life.
Haven't.
Yeah, I just saw the video because
I would love to see a sperm whale.
It was slightly down the coast from where I was. So, yeah, but the species are, let's say, were they similar? It's the northern hemisphere. So.
Okay, so this comes to another question I have, because I know you get bottlenose dolphins in South Africa, right?
Yeah.
Are most cetaceans worldwide? Like, do they swim everywhere, or is it...
Killer whales are cosmopolitan.
They're everywhere.
They're everywhere.
No.
But
bottlenose dolphins?
You do, but we have a species here, and
a
it's
subspecies.
It's just a different species.
It's a different species.
It's a bottlenose dolphin, but different species. So it's like
So it's between the northern and southern hemisphere mainly.
Yeah.
Or is it because of different water temperatures, or?
Well, possibly that's where the split came from.
Yeah.
So the genetic split that made them a different species. But there's also a lot of subspecies of killer whales and types.
Types, like the genotypes.
So they're called C-type,
C-type,
A-type.
Okay.
And that's all to do with their genetics.
Genetic splits.
Yeah, and then there's also
get
within like the bottlenose dolphins, and I think also applies to killer whales as well. But you get the coastal residential, and then you get the oceanic. And they had skulls at the Irish Whale and Dolphin Group where I did another internship. And you can see the size difference of their skulls. The oceanic way bigger and thicker than the residential that stay closer to the coastline. Yeah. And
why is that? Why would they be bigger?
Thinking it's how much they eat. It's it's how they've evolved. So they've gotten stronger and bigger, and
maybe the currents are stronger, so they need to be bigger built. I don't know.
Wow, I haven't studied that.
I know. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's a possibility.
Yeah, but it would be cool to go into the evolution of how they evolved. I love to look at evolution.
The adaptation.
Like my love is plants, but like I love to look at any evolution of anything, because it's fascinating for me. Why did things split, and you get some species that's closely related, but they live with each other. Why did it split then? What's the reason, and why can't they? What happened? There must have been an event that made them split, and now all of a sudden they can't breed with each other, and they came back together. That's probably what happened, because they split, they got isolated, became different species for a long period of time, and then it became lacquer again. Conditions over Earth became lacquer, and then they intertwine again. Now you see species of the same genus living together, but they can't mate.
Yeah. That's very
You see that a lot with plants as well, like everywhere. And that's quite interesting for me. I don't know. There must have been a lot of extinctions as well while the split happened. Yeah. But that's part of life, no?
Mm-hmm.
You need to have extinctions for evolution to actually work.
Yeah. Need change.
You need change. Life is change. Yeah. Okay. So that's your life there at Ireland and Wales. So what happened there? What did you learn from it, or did you enjoy your time there?
Yeah, I did.
Did you ever get an opportunity to swim with a... No, you didn't.
No. No, not yet. But yeah, no, I learned a lot. You learn to... The biggest thing for me was, which the swimming helped with, was the public awareness, which I actually really enjoyed.
What do you mean by that? Public awareness?
So they have public awareness there. So like at Wales, it was a centre. Well, actually both of them, they have these centres. So the one in Ireland had more like fossils in their centre and that you speak about. So they had a fin whale jawbone, and they had a sperm whale top half of the skull, and they had a northern bottlenose whale, and yes, they have all these, and they had Cuvier's teeth. They look like stone roses.
What teeth?
They're beautiful.
What is that?
A Cuvier beaked whale.
Beaked whale.
It's the deepest diving whale. It goes to 3,000 meters.
Yo.
Yeah.
Lekker.
Yeah. And actually their skin goes this yellow, and it's actually a bacteria on their skin.
Do they feed that deep? Or?
Yeah, they do.
Holy hell.
Yeah.
How is that possible? That something can go that deep. And it's a mammal.
A mammal.
So it keeps its breath.
Yeah. So most of them breathe out, and they go down, and they have whales have collapsible rib cages, and then they have myoglobin, which helps contain more oxygen.
More oxygen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, then they go and have their feast of squid. They use suction. So they suck them in. Yeah.
It's cool. So the centers have all these skulls of...
Yeah, so, and then so they're more like a museum. And actually Wales has a little bit of the same, but not as, their fossils aren't as big like skulls of cetaceans. I don't know now if it's changed. But yeah, the one in Wales has this arts and crafts for kids, and then you can come in and anyway, so you at both places you kind of people come in and they ask you questions about dolphins in the area and marine life, and then you get to interact and discuss things, and you learn some stuff, they teach you some stuff. Kids will ask you the most amazing questions, and then you have to rack your brain and be just give me a minute and quickly go check.
Yeah, kids are like that. They can ask the most strangest questions.
But it makes you think, and it's amazing. It's great, and then it just inspires your need for the knowledge as well.
That's true.
Good, yeah.
So I can remember when I was teaching as well. You have to be on it.
Yeah.
You have to when you're teaching about let's say, for instance, I'm teaching about the heart. I was a biology teacher, so then you have to know everything about that. They can ask you not what just in the curriculum. They can ask you about, sir, why is the heart as the size of your fist? Stuff like that. The most random stuff. And you're like, well, I don't really know.
That's how I grew.
It's just like that, you know.
But it does. It inspires, and it's good to be honest with children
exactly.
as well. I remember, when some adults would
just make up something,
or turn it around on you, and so I'm
that's
very
or turn it around and say that's a stupid question.
That I'd never. So I always that's a good question. I'll get back to you, and I'll quickly go check, and then I'll answer them while they're looking around or something. And people appreciate that.
People appreciate that. It's true.
Yeah, but and then you just get to talk to people. Like even when I was doing dedicated surveys on the wharf at Wales, and they come and ask you questions, and you talk to them, and I feel some people get interested in actually looking themselves for dolphins.
Yeah. I feel like that's something that South Africa lacks. We don't have cool museums for marine life, actually. Do we? You know how many?
Well, the Sharks Board did, but yeah, I
Like cool fossils.
yeah, I don't really know.
But it's the
of a
same with like, we
space.
don't have cool museums with dinosaur fossils or...
Yeah.
I don't know of any really, if I think about it.
I know we went like for schools. We went to like history.
Oh, there's one. There's
a
one
lot of
in
history,
West Coast.
But, yeah.
There's a dinosaur fossil.
I don't know West Coast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What did you say about history?
Oh no, there's lots of museums of history, I guess, and art.
There is. We have a lot of history museums actually.
Yeah, now that you mention it, I can't think of
We
any.
don't have enough biological. And the thing is, some of the biological stuff is also a form of history.
Yeah, it is.
To see the evolution and see what type of animals you got and how they adapted, what type of environments they lived in, and how it all changed. Because I think that's quite valuable information to learn to people. Just to show people that nothing is static, you know. Things always change into something else. I feel that's a very good life lesson.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. Yeah, so you helped out at these centers to teach them.
Yeah, so that was part of my duty. So I would do boat surveys, land surveys.
Were these things on weekends, or was it like also in the weekend school trips? Children
we
will
actually
come
had school trips come.
Yeah.
We also had in Ireland. We had a well, what do they call it? Politically correct. It's a school for the people on the spectrum.
Oh, okay.
They call it, they were.
Did they love it?
They loved it. Yeah.
I could
And
think.
the lady, I think she's surprised because all these kids wanted to hug me afterwards and were asking all these questions, and because I think they always want to obviously protect, and they don't know how people will react to some children. So yeah, she was very surprised, and I think they were happy. She said they were happy. But
We won't be happy if we can see cool skulls.
Yeah.
Animals and hear some cool stories.
So yeah, that was boat surveys, land watches, public awareness, and then obviously the photo identification, and then also I worked in Ireland on some historical data as well. So you're going through all the photo files and checking they all correctly ID'd and streamlining
So did you ID the individuals?
Yes.
Did the individuals have names?
Yes.
Or
They
the
do.
bottlenose?
Yes, they have their code, and then they have their name. Some of them are named, and over there they do a program called Adopt a Dolphin. So yeah, and then they create these packages with how often your dolphin was seen and where it was seen and background information.
Donation thing.
It is a donation because these are charities. Both of them are charities and conservation groups. So yeah.
And then you send those photos to these people.
Yeah, it's like a whole
their
package.
dolphin,
Yeah.
And videos as well. So
I don't know
mainly
if they
photos.
do videos, but it's photos mainly because it's like a PDF almost, or information packet they call it. So yeah, and then you it also gives the story and the history, and also that's a great thing there. It tracks the genealogies because you can track the mothers, so not necessarily the fathers unless you do genetics. But the calves will always stay with the mother, so you know who the mother is. So yeah, then you track through whose grandmother, whose baby, and then their baby, and then their stories. Like there was one, Sandy, and she was beached on the sand. Salmon. She was chasing a salmon and got beached, and then she threw it up, and they didn't realize she had a calf, but everyone jumped it, saw her stranded, jumped in and got her refloated, and then she had a baby. She had a baby after she was stranded. Yeah.
Yo, so the people helped her in the
Maggie.
water again, or pushed her in, or how does that work?
Yeah, so they refloat them.
What does that mean?
So it depends on how they are stranded, but usually they you got to be careful with lifting them, obviously, because of the weight, and now they're not supported by water. But some of them have like this airbag thing that they put around, and then they can help lift the animal. And
then you take it to the water.
Yeah.
And then it's very happy again.
Yes.
Yo. Shame.
Yeah, because sorry, I'm trying to remember these names, but yeah, the baby was called Muddy.
Muddy and Sandy.
It was Muddy, and it was Sandy Salmon. Oh, sorry, I'm now. This was a little while ago.
Okay.
I'm forgetting the names. Yeah, but you do have your favorites, like Pip, but he's a male. And yeah. Dalmatian.
Do you think it's an unnatural thing for the dolphins to get stranded? It's natural, right?
It's natural. The pilot whales, they have a leader, and if the leader beaches himself, then everyone else beaches, or she. Yeah.
So you always have this argument: should you help them or not, or what do you think?
It's happening a lot more than naturally occurring, I think.
And you think that's because of human influence?
Yeah, it's the noise. It's when the military test bombs that can shock them. That can even shock the deep diving whales and shock them back up, and then they get actually, we get the bends. They get the bends because they haven't had time to come up slowly. So yeah, I think they're getting driven to beaching more. If that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So
they get beached more.
They get beached more, and we're the driving force in that. So I think it's like with anything. If you can help, it's good.
Yeah, why not?
But
If you can help, why not? You know.
Yeah.
It's like here. If you see a penguin struggling, hanging on a kelp. Shame.
Yeah,
you want to help
it.
You don't want to just leave it there. It's like my conscience just tells me, no, don't just leave it there. Shame. But it's bound to happen in any case.
I think if you know you're the cause.
Yeah, like if you
help.
walk there and you chased it.
Panic them and they end up in a thing. You're not meaning to, but
and most of the times you are the cause if you think about it.
So then I think, helping would just be. But yeah, it does happen naturally. Like I've been on a beach walking and you see this penguin dead and it's just got kelp wrapped around, but a lot, around its leg. And that's natural.
Yeah.
And it helps with keeping numbers down.
Exactly. Yeah, it's just never nice to see these animals getting hurt, especially for stupid reasons like that.
Yeah, also with a lot is with cetaceans, there's also ghost netting, owl pollution. They get stranded, or they get ropes around their tails, or their flukes. Or
have you been on a boat at Durban a lot?
Yes.
You've seen the ocean there.
Yeah, so most of my childhood, we had a boat, so we used to go fish and catch our own food. And
what fish did you guys catch?
Oh,
can you remember?
Yeah, Dorado. Sorry, I'm forgetting their names now.
That's okay.
Stien bass. Shad was a big one. Shad was a lot.
Shad.
Yeah, shad was mostly.
It's the nice fish to eat.
Yes, very nice when it's fresh.
You eat it raw, no?
No, you cook it.
You cook it, okay.
Yeah. Queenie. There's this one that Kuta. And then we did have rock art. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of fish.
Kinds, yeah, grunter.
Grunter, I know grunter.
So, but we only, if it was too small, you put it back, and we only took what we needed, and yeah. So I was on the boat since I was 5, and then we stopped kind of going regularly when I got into grade 8. Yeah. I think because our competitions me and my brother were competing swimming competition, so that became a lot. But we also used to go fishing at the dams. And,
Yeah, so that question actually builds up to another one I thought about now. So you were talking about the pollution there in Wales, no? No? Were you talking about pollution?
Yeah, for whales and cetaceans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I want to know, do you think the pollution there is the same, or is it worse in South Africa, or
Globally, it's bad.
it's globally bad?
Yeah.
It's the same.
Yeah, there's actually rubbish, the islands of rubbish floating around out there.
Yeah.
So I know somebody was coming up with, I don't know if, I think they were
I've
successful.
heard of that. There's an island in the Pacific where all the rubbish, the currents take it to...
Yeah, so there's a huge heap of...
What do they call that again?
It's like the garbage...
Garbage island or something like that.
Or garbage...
And it's like a kilometer or something.
Yeah. So I know
in
somebody...
diameter or something.
Yeah, I know somebody was making a bacteria that would eat the plastic and convert it to oxygen or something. And I think they kind of had a good trial with that, but I don't know how far that's progressed.
Yeah.
But,
I had a friend who did some studies on caterpillars. Was it caterpillars? I think it was caterpillars to eat plastic.
Okay.
But it's only a certain type of plastic.
Yeah.
You know how you get different...
Yeah.
What do you call it? What do you call it? It's different type of plastics. You call it numbers. There's numbers for it.
Numbers, yeah.
I don't remember the exact number. But yeah, I would think bacteria would be better. Makes more sense.
Yeah.
But then obviously you don't want that bacteria to mutate in eating something. That's the danger.
The chemicals in those plastics, so you don't know.
But then again, a bacteria doesn't mutate as quickly as a virus. Like a virus is the worst. And that's why...
But I mean, it's not slow either.
No, it's not that slow.
No.
You would know, you did some microbiology.
So did you?
Yeah, but look, mine was just a year, eh?
Yeah.
No, I was in my prime time. So I didn't listen that much.
Yeah.
I was young.
Yeah.
Now I want to listen. That time I wanted to play. You know?
Oh. But yeah, there's also some like I think it's in Thailand or some, I can't remember where, but they've actually collected those huge plastic bottles and made their own little island out of it. They put sand on top, and there's now vegetation.
Oh my word!
Yeah,
they made their own island.
Yeah.
Hey, that's smart.
We
should go there and actually just throw sand and just claim it for ourselves. Yeah. It's our island now.
Yeah, it's not to mention the plastic degrading underneath you. But microplastics.
Imagine that. You have a floating island. Yeah, this is my island. I'm living on a floating island.
Yeah.
There's a palm tree.
Yeah.
Imagine. That'd be funny.
And I saw it in the news, but you can never know about the news.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Like, I've also seen articles about it, but I think it's real. It's definitely real. I don't know how bad it is. But if you just think about all the plastic you get here and We're Island, how far away from South America and Africa, you still get a lot of litter here, like plastic bottles.
Well, I know that's a big thing with the northern right whales. Huge about entanglement, and there's lots of studies now with them and aerial studies and stuff. And they brinking on extinction, so.
Sure.
Yeah, so it's not helpful.
What does that say again? The northern
right whales. So we have the southern right whales. Yeah.
That's sad.
And apparently, their behavior is very social.
Like
people? But I think so. Yeah, but their behavior is very social, so they're very like curious and come up to boats and stuff, and makes them easy targets.
To kill for food and for oil.
I think it's oil mostly, yeah.
I can't believe that's still a thing. Do we not have an alternative?
But a lot of some countries still actually eat.
And it's like a tradition.
Yeah, it's like that's their diet.
Their diet, yeah.
But the thing is there's a lot of now mercury poisoning and bioaccumulation of metals and cetaceans. So.
I can't think a dolphin is a nice thing to eat.
No. So some actually where they did have it, I think it was Japan, the wet markets there, and people losing their hair and stuff from the mercury poisoning in the meat from the
Sure.
dolphins. So.
Well, where does the mercury poison come from?
From the environment, so it bioaccumulates into the dolphin's tissue, and then
Is it from
so that's also
sewage
a big,
or...
it's, our pollution.
Okay.
So that's also a big thing with the killer whales up north, and I think it's in Scotland. They're down to just 2 males, so that entire pod with it's because they learn their behaviors and their hunting. So some pods are very specialized in the way they hunt. And they get it because it's a matriarchal society, so they get that, they are taught that from their mothers. So now this pod is like, I think it's a Scottish pod, but it's one of the pods in the north, and everyone, like all their calves have been dying because there's too much metal poisoning in the milk from the mothers, or they just don't come to full term because of the poison that's accumulated in the tissue, and so that whole pod and their techniques have all like died out. It's very sad.
That's sad. But can't, like you said, killer whales are everywhere. The cosmopolitan, can't they? New ones come there and...
No, they can, but the whole thing is also their behavior and the hunting techniques they've passed down.
Oh, so they've lost that.
So they've lost that. So unless they pick that up and because there are pods that like hunt together, so then they teach each other their hunting techniques in a special area or specific area. So,
if you talk about hunting techniques, can you like correlate that like as like different tribes of humans who have different is it the same type of thing?
I would equate it to that.
You would equate it to that?
What I used to, because the questions I used to get from the public as well for those public awareness, and they used to ask, oh, do dolphins like people? They see some dolphins bow riding on the boats, and then they say, but people warn against, don't get in between a mother and calf. And I'm like, you just equate it to humans. You're walking down the street, a mother and child hand in hand, and somebody comes pushing through and makes the child go into the street. Do you think that mother's going to be happy? She'll probably attack you. Like it's the same with the dolphin mother. And then you get some people who are social and some people antisocial. Same with dolphins. Some you have bow riding, want to come up to you. Others don't want you to come up to them. And you do, they're going to attack you or they're going to disappear. Same with people.
Yeah.
So they are very clever, intelligent animals.
But now I understand what you're saying now, because if they lose their hunting technique, it's basically... It's the same as we're losing a tribe, as a different culture.
Yeah, and a culture.
A culture that's gonna be lost. I never thought about that, actually. But animal culture.
And it's sad.
Obviously there has to be a thing like that. I wonder if there's like in lions or in like leopards also a culture.
Possibly, I don't know.
No, I also don't know.
That's why I find behavioral studies so interesting.
Yeah. But this comes to the next... What should I do with this? My next question is, it's to Marion.
Yes.
And obviously you're a killer whaler here.
Yes, well...
Oh, you're not a killer whaler.
I am.
And a sealer.
And a sealer.
Let's not forget that.
No.
Obviously.
Thank you.
But now I wanted to say, just from me come visiting you, working on that rock of yours, I've noticed that the killer whales have a certain type of behavior and they're very human-like. And I understand now why you're passionate for it, because they're fucking cool. They're just flippin' insane creatures.
And they each have their own personalities and characteristics, and it's amazing. It's amazing to watch.
Yeah.
When you have the honor to see it.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you're out there for 10 hours and you get 5-minute sighting.
Just a 5-minute sighting?
Come by, say hello, and go away.
And then they go away.
Yeah. But it's amazing. It's like worth it, those 5 minutes.
Yeah, so you basically sit there, sometimes 10 hours, sometimes 3, sometimes 8, it depends. 10 in the summer? Ne?
Yeah.
8 in the autumn.
So from August, it's 1 10-hour a week and 2 3-hours, and then September to January, it's 2 10-hours a week and 2 3-hours a week. And then for winter, so from mid-January to end of July, it's 2 3-hours and 8-hour, and that's also to do with the amount of daylight we have.
Yeah.
And so that depends on the hours, and also the amount of seal work that needs to be done.
And you mainly sit on the same place, the kill point.
Kill point.
Kill point. It's called that because you're looking at killers coming past.
Yes.
Sorry. Yeah. So how many killer whales are here in total? 84, or what was it?
So we've had 4 newborns last year, which I am very happy about.
Yes, you named all 4 of
and
them.
I named all 4. I feel very privileged. And I named another sub-adult. So I was very happy with that. I had the honor to do that. So the codes go up to 85. So there's 85 Marion killer whales.
Killer whales.
Well, they are dolphins. They are
dolphins.
The biggest dolphins.
The biggest dolphin, yeah.
But there are 2 codes that aren't associated. So that it was like they skipped. I'm not sure why they skipped in those years, but I have a feeling maybe it was an individual that was
just briefly incorrectly.
Yeah, incorrectly identified, and then they realized it was this individual, so then they just crossed out.
Crossed it out.
Yeah. So there's 83
that has visited Marion in the recent years.
Yeah, and then it's split into frequently observed, infrequently observed, and then just crozet. Yeah. So we do get some of the killer whales that are mostly seen at crozet, just sometimes passing Marion.
And crozet is how far from Marion?
Oh, I don't know. Sorry,
I don't know. I think
I forgot.
It's far, though. I think it's 1,000, at least more than 1,000 kilometers, right?
Yeah, I've forgotten.
Yeah. But so they only visit here.
Yeah. So also some of our seals have been found there too.
Found there as well.
Yeah, the tags have been.
Yeah, the elephant seals.
Yeah, the elephant seals.
Yes.
And I gather possibly some of the Tropicalis and Gazella fur seals.
You think so? They also goes that far?
Possibly. Because, I mean, the fur seals weren't actually at Marion. They've come from South America to South Georgia, and then they came to Marion. So, possibly.
Okay. It's interesting. So how does it work? You say there's 84, right? Yeah, 85, 83, sorry, flip. Yeah, no, 85, 84, 83, I can never get it. But obviously you haven't seen all of them.
No, I haven't seen all of them.
In a year.
No.
So some of them obviously only come here every 2nd year or every 3rd year.
Well, that's why we're monitoring too. We don't know if they've passed, if they got hit by a boat, or if they died for some reason, or maybe they far away.
Or maybe they travelled somewhere else.
Yeah, joined the Antarctic group. I don't know, but that's why it's great to have their fins and so we can ID them and see who comes around and how often they come around and where they might be.
It would actually be beneficial if all the islands did this type of work, so that you can actually see if a Marion killer whale that's chilled here for, let's say, 3 years, while it was a calf, or I don't know, 10 years, whatever, and then someone in Antarctica found it. It would be cool, and then it chills there for the rest of its life. You never know.
Yeah, it would be. Well, we have had some confirmation of killer whales between crozet and Marion, which has been great. And like that was also at the internship. Like, it was nice that I was in Wales and then went to Ireland, and they had one of our bottlenose from Wales while I was there had gone all the way to Ireland, and then I found out the next year when I went there that the
The
bottlenose
bottlenose.
was there. So it's very interesting to see where they go and what they do.
It's amazing how far they can swim.
Yeah.
Crazy. Oh.
So
Okay.
it would be great if there were more programs.
Yeah, it would be great.
Yeah.
So basically what you do, you take photos and you ID them through the photos.
Yeah,
So,
and you create an ID catalog.
and you've showed me, you take different angles
Yeah.
and create a catalog to make it more easier for the next people to ID them,
Yeah.
basically.
So especially with, because I know my work in Wales, they wanted mostly just the dorsal fin, and they can get scrapes, rake marks all over their bodies, and that's another. It's a good idea because it's like a fingerprint.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you want to also track those scars. And then when I was in Ireland, they wanted more of everything. So they wanted the dorsal fin, and if you could get the whole body, that was great. And especially if they could roll over, then you see their gender.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, you can only really tell. Males are bigger usually, an Australian dorsal fin, but you basically, for bottlenose dolphins, see that they're females when they have a calf next to them. That's the easiest way.
Is that the easiest way?
To know that it's a female.
Yeah. It's difficult for bottlenose, but it's easier for killers, right?
So killers, yes. Killers, when they matured, the males have this really straight fin.
Yeah.
And the females are more curved and smaller. So males can get up to 1.8 to 2 meters high there dorsal.
It's crazy.
So,
And their body, what's the length of the largest killer whale? Do you know?
Now you're putting me on the spot.
I'm putting you on the
I
spot.
can't remember.
I
think
if you
it's
have to
about
estimate
7
meters. 7 meters.
Could be. Yeah, I
You
know.
might be more.
I know the bottlenose dolphin is 4 meters. They get to like 4 meters.
I would think a killer whale can be bigger.
So I
Like
think
that other
the
one we
killer
saw.
whale- yeah, he's huge.
The Poseidon.
Poseidon, Half Moon,
massive.
Max, they're all big. So yeah, I think it's 7 meters.
It's okay.
I can't
Doesn't
remember.
matter.
You're putting me on the spot
I don't
now.
want to put you on the spot here.
Yeah.
I know you don't measure them. It's quite impossible.
No, we do. Well, yeah, when we,
Hmm?
I mean, you could maybe do photo
Yeah, you could maybe.
measurements, but
Photo
yeah, when
measurement.
they, like the one that washed up, we know that's
That
a
one we
juvenile and it
measured,
was
yeah.
5 meters.
Yeah.
And it was a juvenile female.
Yes. So that means for me, I feel like an adult might be over 10 maybe. But you don't believe
No,
me.
I think it's
You don't-
7.
Okay.
If
Okay,
I
let's just
remember.
keep it at
I
7.
think it's 7.
Okay. But 7's still massive. though.
Yeah, 7 meters. But yeah. So yeah, they're sorry, going back to the question. So there, it was the body, but with killer whales, the saddle patch, that's a very good indicator. They get very distinctive marks there too.
Yeah.
So I feel like there should be a dorsal fin, a saddle patch, and maybe if you can get the eye, that'd be great. Because I know Razor and Ella and Dot actually have like these slashes across their eye patch,
Yeah.
in just different areas. So I know that Crozet has a catalog of eye patch, saddle patch, fluke, and dorsal. But sometimes it's very, like you've seen, it's sometimes very hard to get that. So
Exactly.
dorsal and saddle patch are
The same as the tail.
best you're
'cause I
gonna
can
get.
think
The
everyone's-
flukes, yeah.
tail, what you call it? You call it
Fluke.
the fluke.
Yeah, fluke.
So the fluke, I would think, would also look different, but you can't see it always. That's the
yeah.
problem.
Although I got a photo of Prince the other day. I
Yeah.
was very happy.
But I also have a picture of the fluke.
Yeah.
You
and he's
remember
got,
that
like,
video I
different
took? I think that one has the
cuts.
fluke.
Bruce.
Which one was it?
Oh,
I can't. I think it was one of the females, man.
Okay.
I think it was Dot. Gave me
A fluke.
a tail whip.
Okay.
I can't remember.
I can't.
Anyway,
Did you give
doesn't
me
matter.
that video?
I think so.
Okay.
I think I gave you that
It's so in
video.
my file.
No, let's go through my phone again.
Okay.
I'll give you that photo.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've just been enjoying it. Coming in, because they are my favorite. I think they're one of my favorite things here, Marion, is the killer whales.
Definitely my favorite.
Well, obviously it's why you came.
Yeah. But I mean, even like, I also got a photo the other day of Ella, and she'd grab this kelp and she was waving it around.
Playful.
Yeah, spy hopping. And then Archer, the new baby.
Oh, but you need to explain what spy hopping. What is spy hopping?
Okay, so they come vertically out to have a look, and they
Have
do it. Yeah, they do it to see if they like on ice. They spy hop to see where the seals are on the ice. Yeah, and they're down, and usually in like the Arctic and Antarctic, there's pods that have this technique where they go in a line and they rush and they like
create a wave.
I've
seen that.
Yeah, you've seen that on videos.
Yeah. I've seen
so they spy hop to see where and what, and and sometimes they just do it to play too. Yeah.
And do other cetaceans do it as well, or is it mainly killers?
I know humpbacks come up, but that's also mostly when they're feeding. They come up like this. I wouldn't call it spy hopping. I think killers
I've
are the
seen
only...
humpbacks do that, actually, when I was small at Hermanus.
But I think killers are like the only ones that spy hop. It's called spy hopping specifically for them.
Oh.
Yeah, but I know, humpbacks do come up like that, but they also, it's mostly when they're feeding, they come up and then they go down.
Yeah.
Sort of. They're not really looking for anything, I don't think.
Do you think killer whales are cosmopolitans because they have a cosmopolitan diet as well? Like they eat anything?
Possibly, but a lot of them, like with their specialized hunting techniques, they then specialize in their prey.
Yeah.
So they're like the Cape fur seals, and then they tunnel wave up the beach and then go back in, and that can also cause unlikely strangling.
The Cape
strandings.
Or the subantarctic fur seal?
Cape fur seals.
Oh, the Cape fur seal.
Yeah, so they do that on the east coast of
South
Africa
yeah.
and Africa, because go up to Namibia.
Yeah.
And then up in Canada, they hunt in the kelp forests. I think rays and stuff, but I think theirs is a bit varied. It's rays and fish. And yeah, there's been strandings there too because the tide will go out and they've missed their chance. It's like they took a chance and it didn't kind of work out for them. But I did see there was this one that did get stranded, but the people around kept it wet until the tide came back and it refloated itself and it was fine.
Wow.
So that's also where it's great that people do help.
People do help. Yeah. It's such a beautiful creature.
It is.
The colors and why does it have? Is it for camouflage, the white and the black? Or what's the reason for the white? Why is it not just black, for instance?
Black. Well, I think the eye patch around the eye patch is to do with the sun and light, and I think it's just sort of a camouflage kind of thing. I know there's with other dolphins like bottlenose, they're lighter on the tummy, darker on the top. Same with some fish species, with sharks.
Yeah.
And that two-tone coloring is because from above they're dark, so when the light shines they're camouflaged. And then from the bottom, if you look up, there's the light above them and they light.
Yes, okay, that makes sense.
It is to do with camouflage and hunting.
Just sneak attack
Yeah.
on their prey, basically.
Yeah. So killers must be just difference in how their evolution worked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think there were other larger cetaceans that got extinct?
Yeah, possibly.
Probably, no?
Yeah. But I mean, the whale's the largest.
Yeah.
I think it's always been the largest.
Always been the largest. The blue whale is the largest thing that ever existed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so sad. It's endangered, I think. Shouldn't lose that precious creature, shame. I'd love to see a blue whale.
Same.
Oh, hopefully one day. Yeah, so to go back to the diet of the killer whales. We were so lucky to see it the day before Christmas. See them hunt. And for me it was so crazy to see that. I'll never forget that elephant seal's eyes. How afraid that animal was for these killers, because he was surrounded by like 6 killers. I think it was 6, I can't remember the number. 3, but there were more.
The other 2 were at the back.
They were at the
5
back.
in
There were
that
5.
pod, yeah. So
But still,
it was Dent, Aurora, Twiggy, Bruce, and Anglefin.
Okay. Because you know, obviously, the specifics.
Yeah. But that's what's interesting about the Marion killers. Because I think the whole reason, if I can remember correctly, I only read a little, but the whole reason it started was because they had a specific technique of taking the Patagonian toothfish off the hooks of the longliners, and so they were shot and killed back in the day. And then that obviously stopped, and now it's seeing how and I think maybe because of that they moved to Marion. A lot of them just moved around Marion.
Yeah.
So their diet changed to more opportunistic. So for what we know, they've gone after penguins, seal, the elephant fur seal. Sorry.
Elephant seal.
The elephant seal and the fur seals.
And the
Antarctic fur seals. So the tropicalis and gazellas.
Yeah.
So I think they favor more the southern elephant seals. But yeah, then they also eat the penguins and stuff.
No, but I haven't seen them.
So
okay,
it's interesting. So it's interesting how they.
You have seen them eating the penguins, but I haven't seen.
Yeah, I have a photo.
I can't believe it. There's so many penguins to eat
Dent,
here.
Yeah. I have a photo of Dent with a penguin in his
yes,
mouth.
I can remember.
Mouth.
You showed me that picture.
Yeah.
And penguin
like
jumping, flying out of this killer.
Yeah, and I've seen Shula. She's a subadult, and she was chasing a rock hopper near the rock that one day. And then I've seen Anglefin with a it was a gazelle bull in her mouth that she went past. So, and then we obviously saw the Ellie.
The Ellie.
Ellie being attacked. Or hunted.
But I would have thought that they would hunt more penguins actually, but I think it's just too difficult probably because those things are so fast, and it's not a lot of energy that you get from one. Like you said, it's like a popcorn, eating a popcorn. For the killer.
I mean, if they eat a lot.
Yeah.
But I mean,
there's so many to eat. There's so many penguins here.
Killer whales can get up to like 56 kilometers an hour, so they can move pretty fast. They're the second fastest cetacean. The common dolphin is the fastest, and I think it's 67 kilometers an hour. So yeah, but I've looked at some of the past killer whale photos, and I think one of them had a killer coming out onto the beach and actually grabbing a penguin.
Yes, I've seen that picture.
You saw it, yeah.
Yeah, it's the Boulders one, on Boulder Beach.
I think it was Boulder. I can't remember. Or Kildalkey.
Maybe Kildalkey.
Oh,
there was a Kildalkey one as well.
Yeah.
There's a Boulders one as well.
Yeah.
I know about that one.
So I think they do. It's not always we see it, but I think they do feed a lot on them.
Yeah, so they need to feed a lot probably because to maintain their body weight.
Yeah.
It's actually crazy. So that's why obviously you get like, how many, with probably 200,000 of penguins living here. I think that's how many.
Maybe. It's a lot.
Because that's the number I've read in the books. That's a lot. You only get like 83 killers here. And not all of them are here all the time. You know, so.
And some of them are babies still, so they're drinking milk.
They're drinking milk, yeah. Exactly. And playing in the water.
Yeah.
Like cuties.
They are cute.
Yeah. So at the moment, how many have we seen out of the 83 that's been recorded? How many have you seen in this year? Do you know?
Other individuals. You're putting me on a spot here. I need to count them.
I just want you to make an estimate.
Make an estimate, rather just a number.
Just a number. You've at least seen...
I'm going to count them, right?
Okay, you can count them. Go for it.
Okay, so it's Poseidon, Razor, Her Newborn, Winter, Nimrod, Top Notch, Dent, Bent, BJ, Shula, Supernova, Covey, Scratches, Ringo, Star, Half Moon, Prince. That's 16, right?
I think so. I'm not sure. You're counting.
Then, who else have I seen? Anglefin, Bruce, Twiggy, Aurora, who I got to name.
I haven't said winter.
I did say winter.
You did?
Yeah. Oh, that reminds me. Then
Ember.
it's Ember, who's the newborn of Sirius. That's 22. Aquarius, very shy killer. Yeah, she hasn't been photographed a lot. So it's difficult to get her ID now recently because she's moved from a juvenile to a subadult. So yeah, she's got a lot of new scratches. Then Agents, Valentine, Archer, Angel, the two babies. O'Neill, Griffin. That's 29.
What's that other one? 47. He only has a number.
57.
57.
Yeah, 57. To 30. Who else? Oh, Ivory, Echo, Shadow, Ebony, Titus, Jinx, Magnum, Dot. How can I forget Dot and Max? Ella and Sea Biscuits. So what? That's 41.
41. You see, it is more. It's probably half.
Possibly half.
Half of that you've seen at least this year.
Who else?
But the ones you've just mentioned, like the Ebony, I haven't heard them a lot. You've only seen them sometimes.
They came at Takeover, and then the last time I saw them was in early December. They haven't been back since then.
So you see, some of them chill here, like Max and Dot.
Yeah, Max and Dot are the most regular.
Yeah, and then like those ones, Ebony, Magnum, I don't really see them.
Yeah, they are frequent
they probably
around here.
Move around islands.
Possibly, but they are classified as frequently seen around here. So
maybe
could just be. It's like
maybe they had Prince Edward for this year.
Possibly, yeah, because there's apparently Blade and Atlas used to be around so much. I haven't seen them yet.
You haven't seen them at all.
No, but like I told you before as well, like looking back, the dedicated observation, so not even the opportunistic, but dedicated has been like declining by 100 almost every year for the last 5 years. So.
And you have this theory that you think they're going back to Crozet.
To the.
Because that niche can be filled again.
Yeah, to the fish.
Yeah, because they're not hunting them anymore.
Yeah, so possibly it's, I don't know, possibly seasons or possibly something to do with changing environments. But yeah, they seem to be less here.
Let's hope it's that.
Less sightings.
And not that people are actually killing them.
No, I hope not.
I think it's so wonderful, these killer whales. Because every time you see one, you just become so happy. Like, yo!
I do. You
but it's not just you.
I know
think
it's
most field workers here.
Yeah,
like,
they do.
love it when a killer whale just pops up at the beach, or especially when you don't expect it. Because this one time, I think I was helping Monique in the field with like exclosure trap with the mice, and then we came back, and I think she did something. I was waiting for her at Boulder. I think I gave you those sightings. That I took a really bad picture.
April.
No. It was in June or July.
Maybe one's from April.
Huh?
Okay, I'll check.
No, I gave you those photos.
Okay.
100% sure.
Alright.
But they were bad photos. But I was just standing there, like minding my own business, and then you just hear
that noise.
That noise, like.
It's amazing.
What the hell? I was like, what's the chances of this happening? Because I didn't want to wait for her. I would have just walked on, but I just decided, let's just chill here a little bit and just look at the beach or whatever. And then you just hear that flowing action. I think it was Max and Dot, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember who it was.
That was a while ago.
Yeah, that was really long ago. I was right at the
because
start.
I know you gave me ones for April, and I think maybe May.
No, that April ones was the takeover. That nice picture I got with my camera.
Yeah, because that was Agent that you gave me, and Valentine. She hadn't had her calf yet.
Ah.
That was Takeover.
You see, at that time I didn't know the names of the killers yet. It's like I didn't know who's who, what.
Well, I was.
All of them look the same for
didn't
me.
know either. Yeah.
And now you can actually I know where to look. Now you can actually see the difference. You can easily see if it's a female and a male or a calf. That's easy.
Sometimes the subs are hard to tell because, I mean, Seabiscuit, she's now mature enough to calf, but she's still classified as a sub adult.
Seabiscuit. Who gave that name?
Do you know? No, I don't know.
I don't like Seabiscuit.
Oh, it's sweet.
Do you think it's sweet?
She's a Seabiscuit.
She's a Seabiscuit. Okay. Yeah. So, I actually have more. I have a lot of questions.
Okay.
So, if you sit there in the rock and you're watching these killers, do you feel like it's worth it to sit there for that long and just for the 10 hours and actually...
Yeah, because you never know what you're going to see.
You never know what you're going to see.
And it's not just the killer whales. Like, the seals will do these cute things or things you never... Like, when you actually just sit and watch them. And even birds. Like, you think they're so, like, adapt in the air and that's, and then they'll do these weird things like running their little feet. And then they'll crash land into the ocean with like this rolling splash. It's amazing to see that not even the animals, which, it's like their life, are always good at something. So, and then you think about your own life, or you think about people where they stumble and fall, and you're like, it's just, you find, I don't know what the word is. I don't want to say humanity in animals because that's weird. But I don't know if you know what I mean. You find the because we're all animals. So
we're all the same. We're all animals. We all have the same goal in life, and that's survival.
And then
and with survival, you need to eat, you need to play, you need to reproduce, you need to do all those things. We're all kind of the same.
And you find you have this, I think, expectation that animals like birds and seals and stuff should be proficient in everything they do because that's them. But they're not.
They also make mistakes.
Crash land into the ocean or miss a footing and land wrong and fall back off a cliff.
Exactly.
It's just amazing.
We always think they're these experts in nature, but the animals are not. They also have to learn and make mistakes.
And then, you equate that to your own life, and you're like, it's just life.
It's just life.
Yeah.
We all make mistakes, exactly.
Yeah.
No, that's cool that you've learned that or seen that in nature. Because most of the times you don't see that.
Yeah, you don't. Yeah.
Because, let's take for instance, if I just go for a random hike in South Africa and I look at the plants and the birds and I look at the kingfisher, for instance, hunting, you always see, he comes out with a fish.
Yeah.
But if you sit there the whole day, probably you'll see how many times that kingfisher will
come up with nothing.
But you only see the good thing because you've recognized the good thing at that moment.
Yeah.
And you actually miss when there's a mistake in nature.
Yeah.
You don't see it.
Or a learning curve.
But you have to sit like that, like you said, for hours before you can actually realize what's going on.
And then it's not just the mistake, it's like you see amazing things. Like I got that photo of a crozet shag coming up with that fish.
Yeah.
It's just amazing.
And the petrels with the not the squid, the octopus.
The octopus, and then like the king penguin picking a fight with the GPs, and the GPs picking a fight with the king penguin. And I mean, I know they eat the king penguin, but just seeing the king penguin pick a fight, it's like, what are you doing? And then you never know what kind of cetacean you might see passing. I mean, that's when I saw that juvenile humpback. I was like, what? And then it just, because it was in the sun, and I was like, what? And then, it was just amazing. And
No, that's pure dedication, because you have to go sit there and all the elements
Yeah.
for 10 hours.
It can be hard.
If it snows,
Yeah.
or a hailstorm comes over,
A snowstorm.
or the whole day it rains.
The whole day it rains.
Or
like a
even
freak wave. Or not
freak
even a freak
wave.
wave, just high tide
The
crashes over
tide
your
is
head.
just high.
Yeah.
Sure.
Wind changes.
That's one thing I don't understand here. They should actually give us tide times, the weather. Why don't we?
Tide timetable, yeah.
Yeah, because that's quite important for your work, technically. Because you need to sit at that rock right next to the ocean.
Yep.
I haven't actually thought about that. Like, why don't we get that for our weather forecast? We have to look at for that because it impacts the seal work probably as well.
Yeah, it does. On really bad stormy days, the beaches are empty, some of them. But then that's also taken into account. So, although we don't quite say what the weather was, but for our seal work. Whereas with the killer whale, you do effort data, which is basically your environmentals. So yeah, that's why I check when I go to the rock, which section I sit on.
That's interesting. So you guys don't take weather for seal.
We don't.
You should actually every time you start with a beach, say what's the weather. I would say the tide line or something. It won't take as much time.
Yeah, I guess. But then again, every beach is different, and you'll have the smaller beaches, the larger beaches, and I guess the haul out lets people know in the data what's kind of going on. But yeah, I agree. Probably there should be maybe a note on the weather, especially not the like rain and wind, but the I agree the tide or the waves, because if it's stormy, the waves are crashing against the coast.
But then again, you can also argue some of the seals will just chill in the water.
Yeah, they do.
Because some of them will just do that when the weather is bad.
It is. Or when the weather's good. They're all there on the front line.
They'll just all sit there and watch you.
Yeah, and then you're looking and you're trying to take photos of when they wave their tags. You like try and get that photo, and you're just on the edge there. But yeah.
Yeah, it's difficult work doing the seal tags as well. Getting those tags. But yeah, what would you say is your best experience you had with killers this year? If you have to reflect upon our year now.
Wow, okay.
I know that's a big question. It doesn't necessarily have to be.
The first hunt I saw was with Scratches and Ringo and her calf star.
Yeah.
Sorry. So Ringo is her baby as well as the juvenile, and then Star is her new baby, her new calf. Well, and you say new, but I think Star is about 3, if I remember correctly. But the first time I was sitting there and I just heard this roaring, and I never heard an elephant seal roar like that.
Roar.
And it got away, but it was just an explosion of energy there. And the Ellie was like hauled out, but she kept grabbing the tail and pulling him back in, but kept managing to re-haul himself out and then roar and turn back. And it was just like this 5-minute insane energy impact, like action thing, and it was amazing.
Sure. But the Ellie got away.
Ellie got away, yeah.
Sure.
So I think she was more like teaching how they do it. I don't know. Yeah, but I mean, some of them get away. They're not, like I said, they're not always.
Maybe the killers just played with them.
They do, yeah. They do play.
Just
they
for fun.
Play. Yeah, like at my internship in Wales.
Yeah.
They play with those big jellyfish. What are they called now? Oh,
I don't know.
What's the name? Barrel jellyfish. They can get up to like 50 kgs, and they literally just toss them and kick them with their flukes, like they're playing volleyball.
Playing volleyball with a jellyfish.
Oh yeah, with a
in the water.
Yeah.
Water volleyball.
So they do play, and then I know there was a video of bottlenose dolphins down in South Africa, going off the coast, east coast, and they were playing with a blow-up fish.
Blow-up fish, yeah.
Yeah, and apparently they can get a high from the toxin. So they were like going around playing with it in their mouths,
Get high
passing
from
it
the
around.
toxin.
Yeah, it
So
was
they get high.
Yeah, because they also form these juvenile male packs. So it's kind of like a bachelor squad. And they were playing with this blosselfish.
That's
And they get
interesting.
giddy and so yeah, very, very cool.
That's cool.
But yeah, the hunt at Christmas, your archer playing with kelp while Angel's trying to catch the kelp out of his mouth or her mouth. I don't know what his gender is yet.
Do you think those kelp just get stuck there or they play with it?
No, they play with it. You
with
can see it. They like got it in their mouth, like
They
playing with it.
wiggle it around.
Yeah. And then my biggest thing was to see in real life a spy hop, and so Anil obliged the first one. And then I've seen a few after that, but that was amazing.
I've seen 2 spy hops. I think I've seen one with you. I see both of you, I think.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, on the rock.
Yeah.
You went crazy. You were like, they're spy hopping.
That was the day with Dan.
Yes, I think it was that day.
And Aurora.
And they were around the corner there.
Yeah.
That was cool.
And then obviously seeing all the newborns come through. That's another.
No.
I can't just pick one.
No.
So, like, each experience is different.
Exactly,
And then
you
when
can't pick
Ringo
a-
and Star came to the side there, playing with the kelp at the rock, right there at the rock, and turning and looking at me. I mean, the weather was like the worst. It was blowing like 50 knots, but
Yeah.
it was an amazing
For
sight.
me, the other day, what was cool, just seeing them from the top. Because at Crane Point,
Yeah.
you can see the size of them and then how they float and the color. I love the color, that turquoise color that comes through the white underneath the water.
Yeah.
They just float around there. Yo, it's a cool experience.
And I mean, I haven't got them all on camera, but when they jump.
When they
Like
jump,
I've had the babies are doing small breaches.
Yes.
I just, right now, the last thing that I would like is a full breach of
from
an adult male.
Yo.
And I want the photo. But yeah,
Should hope it's hunting
that.
penguins. While the penguin jumps, it goes up.
But I'd love it if they just like breached and do their like play where they fall on their side, just smash down. That would be amazing. I have had them turning, like they've been socializing and playing, so they've turned and I see their pectoral fins come out. And they're just, really cute. But yeah, I can't just pick one moment.
Yeah, I also, if I had to pick, I also can't pick a moment. Even though that one where I almost could have touched some of them.
The hunt.
The hunt, but I decided not to. I just wanted to enjoy it. But even that moment with Max and Dot, just chilling there for an hour, just going around. And what's the reason, Why you go around there?
But he was watching and he like lifted his head.
It felt like he was like just chilling with us.
Yeah.
That was cool for
mean,
me. That was the first cool experience I had. Before that, I only like saw them for a brief moment. I'd never really seen them just chill there. And after that, I saw many chill
Actually, I think
Dot
and Max have been the longest chilling there. And then that day when it was opportunistic and we ran out onto the helipad and
when they were sleeping.
Dot, Max, Agent, Valentine, O'Neill, and the 2 babies. The babies were going nuts, but the adults were all like sleeping and resting. On the top there, like
looking like submarines in the water.
Unfortunately, they were on the other side, but I wish they were closer though.
I'm just hoping we'll have another opportunity to see
I hope so too.
a very close encounter. Yeah. I think I have probably the last question.
Okay.
I don't know, I'm getting tired. Are you okay?
You're fine.
Are you fine? So, obviously this is very important work for the long-term monitoring of them, but who uses this data? Like, what is it? Just, do you know? Is it different organizations? Do they actually write scientific papers out of it? Do you know what's the plan exactly?
Okay, so I know that it's the the Marine Mammal Marion Island program.
Yes.
That's all right.
That's fine.
I think that's right. So they started, and they were based within University of Pretoria. And now SAPRI has taken over the research from MIMP. And so MIMP has kind of come out of the university. And I know that Rowan, who's doing the database, was the PhD student, and he, I think, did his PhD on the Marion killer whales and stuff. And he did the ID catalog and wrote a paper out of that. Yeah, so yeah, I'm not too sure, but yeah, it's basically, yeah, they're writing papers out of it, out of the frequency of individuals seen, and they looking at the social dynamics, and they've made maps of who's related to who. And there's a genetic with Ryan Rasinger, who started the whole program in 2006, doing genetic studies and all that kind of thing. Yeah. Put me on the spot there with that one.
Putting you on the spot. Why am I putting you on the spot? No, I think it's a legitimate question.
No, I do agree, but I can't remember the answer. But yes, they are writing papers from it. There is genetic studies, there are behavioral and social dynamic studies going on.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I would say that, because if you use all the years, photos and what you guys have written about it, and what the behavioral you see, so you guys write that down, right? You'll say like this, they're playing, or they're whatever, they're feeding.
I do, yes. Yeah. I give an account of what I saw.
Yes.
Yes.
But if you have all that data, you can use a long-term, yearly, not yearly, but a lot of years data, and then make a nice project out of it. Or you can actually figure something out.
Yeah, well,
about a certain killer. You can see, okay, Ebony in 2016 liked to travel around, and then in 2020 he liked to chill here. It's like interesting understanding more of the killers and why they're doing these behavioral things. And you'll realize maybe they're just like humans and they never give a shit. They just do what the hell they want.
Yeah, I agree.
They probably do.
Yeah, they do.
They just survive.
Yeah.
Fascinating. Very smart.
They
It always
live,
feels like they can see you.
No, they can. Yeah.
They can,
They
eh?
can.
They have good eyesight.
Yes. They live their life.
Yeah, they just live. Yeah.
Which I envy.
You envy. You want to be a killer whale.
No, it's just how animals just live.
We're animals, are we not?
Yeah, but
You're not living. You're living. Obviously, you're living.
Yeah, but there's a lot of things that constrain you as a person, whereas animals survive and do what they want.
But it's a lot more difficult, wouldn't you say?
guess,
They're wildlife. Wild
they have
animals.
to deal with humans, I guess. Yeah, it's difficult.
Exactly. They have to deal with surviving all the time. Well, some of our stuff, we don't have to go hunt anymore. You know? We just pay taxes because we don't have to wrap the bread anymore. We don't have to bake the bread. You just go into the shop and buy it.
Hunting in the shop to
buy
it.
Exactly. It's just changed a lot. Now we made more problems out of that, if you think about it. Yes, I understand what you're saying.
More convenience, there's more problems.
Yeah, it's like that book from, what's his name? Henry David Thoreau, who lived in Walden what's the book's name? Walden. He lived in the wild at a pond, and he just built a house, lived off the land. And he feels like people have lost that. You know, you can actually if you could just do that, you don't have to worry about buying a house, and people just making money out of you. Everything's become a system, a society's become a system where you have to pay for everything. Well, people that lived off the land were called savages, you know, but they don't have to pay for anything. They can just put their tent up anywhere and just go hunt.
Yep.
So it's a very interesting concept. We've lost that, but obviously there's a lot of benefits to it. We have better technology now to do stuff, and you don't have to worry about stuff. I think it depends on how you see it. At the end of the day, society is also bad, but it's also good, and we're born into it. You can't really go back. You can't go back. You need to move forward.
Agreed.
You need to use what you have and make it a better place for yourself. And learn from the past.
Yeah.
I've just been rambling on now.
It's okay.
I don't know what I'm saying. Yeah.
No, I agree. I agree with progress, but responsible progress, I guess.
Responsible progress.
I guess. I don't know. It's a thing to think about.
Yeah, no, definitely.
But I am very thankful for the conveniences that we do have.
Yes. No, you should be thankful.
I am thankful.
No, we should be thankful, definitely. Yo, imagine we didn't have convenience here, you know. We would have died of cold, no hot shower.
No hot showers. You're frozen.
We would have flipped and died.
Yo, dude.
And have shelter from the wind.
Yeah.
Yo, it's difficult. Yeah.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I think, are we done now?
I don't know.
I don't know. I think let's wrap it up.
Sure.
Yeah? I think let's wrap it up. I'll ask you one more question.
Okay.
About the killers.
Sure.
I don't know, it's getting late now. Not getting late, you don't care.
I care a lot about killer whales.
You care a lot about killer whales. Okay, if you had to choose, would you go on with killer whale work in the future?
Yes.
Definitely.
Yes.
You loved it so much.
Oh, I love their sound. Oh, yeah. I know I asked about the acoustic study down here, but it was cancelled because of all the ocean noise that happened, so it was a bit hard. And the equipment is very expensive, especially if you do acoustic monitoring devices, which they did do in Ireland, which is where I first got really introduced.
So how does the acoustic devices work? You put a device in the water and then...
Yeah, so it's like in a cylinder that it's attached to an anchor, and you drop it in, the device goes in there and it goes in, and then it picks up all the noises.
Frequencies.
Yeah. And then you can hear there it's bottlenose dolphins coming through the estuary, but you can also hear the ships coming through and that kind of stuff. But yeah, the ocean here makes huge noise because obviously crashing against the rocks all the time. And, yeah. I think that was the main reason.
What would you be able to do with that? So like communication between...
Yeah, so there's a study going on in Canada, and you can ID them, because dolphins have very unique whistles. It's like a voice. It's like when you hear, like I explained it to
your
public
voice.
going.
I know your voice.
So over the phone, you can hear, oh, it's so-and-so. So their whistles and... their whistles are very unique to themselves. So it's actually interesting because the bottlenose dolphins, I think it's the same for killers, I'm not sure. But yeah, the work on bottlenose that I did, okay, well, anyway, sorry. The babies copy the mum and then develop their own kind of accent.
Yeah.
In the whistles. And yeah, so it's like a fingerprint. So that's very interesting to me, and I love their sounds. I love bottlenose and orca sounds, but orcas are mostly. I love their sounds. And yeah, there's a study in Canada, and they can tell now certain lead females and some males from their acoustic noises.
But have you heard their sounds here on Marion Island?
Yeah, no.
You haven't, because I haven't heard.
No, I haven't. And
Is it
that
very
would be
distinctive? And do you need to be under the
very.
water?
No, some dolphins vocalize on the top. Like in Ireland, I had Muddy came up and she vocalized on the top. It was amazing.
The
Best
bottlenose
experience.
dolphin.
Yeah, best experience of my life. I only ever heard them at the aquariums when I was younger, when they make the whistles and
Yeah, I've heard that.
sounds.
I've seen that in
when they
videos.
make them do that, and it's actually the blowhole. They blow through. They make the noise through there. But never had I seen it until in the wild until Ireland on the boat there, and it was an amazing experience. So I'd love to see it here, but obviously it's a unique, very rare thing in the wild. They vocalize on the top, mostly underneath. So whales, I could hear them. It was so quiet and still on some days that you could actually hear their whistles under the water and their clicks under the water. But on top is amazing.
So it's not like whale noise, it's like
The humpbacks.
Yeah,
No,
the killer whale. It's different, eh?
But it's like this, like, I don't know how to explain it. It just like radiates through your body, and it's like this haunting but pleasant sound. Yeah, you need to listen to one.
Have you listened to one on, where do you listen to it?
YouTube.
You just go YouTube.
Yeah,
and
they've posted some of them, yeah.
Oh, okay. So that's a cool thing. A very cool thing to hear.
Yeah.
But I haven't heard one.
No, I haven't heard one either.
Okay. So that's what you'll want to do.
Yeah, killer whale research if I can.
If you can.
If I
And
get the
where?
opportunity.
Exactly. Anywhere.
Anyway. There's some programs
Somalia.
in Canada. Okay. Maybe not anywhere. Possibly the polar regions.
Okay.
I'd like. And or Scotland. I mean, that's Northern Hemisphere, but Scotland would be amazing.
Yeah.
They do a orca watch there.
Okay.
Dedicated research. I know there's a lady in France doing it in the aquariums there. She's actually South African. Then, Antarctic, Arctic, Canada, Alaska, I'd say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think Free Willy had a big impact on you loving killing?
Yes, it did.
I can't remember what happens in that movie.
They free him from the aquarium.
Is that what's happened?
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched that movie when I was super young.
They actually freed the whale that was used in that movie into the wild.
Seriously?
Yeah, and they were following him for a while. I was in Canada, and I think because it's she, I think. Kikyo was her name. I think that's right. Anyway, found her pod. Found her pod. But then died recently. There's also another one. I've forgotten the name. It starts with a T. But years ago, I saw on the news her baby had died, and she was the killer whale who pushed it for kilometers and kilometers, mourning. And she recently had another one, but then died, and she did the same thing.
Did the same, pushing a
and then just let her drop into the deep ocean.
Yeah.
It's so sad. But that's also, that brought to mind, I don't know why the baby died, but I'm thinking it was, I mean, we don't have internet here, so I could only see the headline. I couldn't open up the article, but I have a feeling the calf died because of poisoning, heavy metals and stuff. Yeah, that's sad. But they're trying now to, they stopped all the breeding programs in all the aquariums, and I think they're trying to release some of the killer whales, but the killer whales that are there now will be the last ones. They die, that's it. I think that's what they're trying to keep. Organizations
and there's more people want to make money out of them.
Yeah, but I think there's legislation now that's going to prevent that. So.
Okay, which is great, because it's just because you always hear these amazing stories of killer whales helping people.
Well, there's that one Luna in Canada.
Yeah.
I'm following her. How she helped even other animals escape. And
help them from drowning.
There's a dog that I think Luna helped. Yeah.
And then you hear about these ones. There was this one documentary of those bloody shows. It's like a circus basically for killer whales. It's also an aquarium. And they have these swimmers. You don't know that documentary? Where they have these swimmers swim with them and do tricks with the killer whales.
Yeah, that's Shamu and them in Atlanta or something. Aquarium.
Yes, I think it's Atlanta.
Blackfish is the documentary.
Blackfish, that's the documentary.
Have you watched The Cove?
The second one?
No, The Cove is about bottlenose dolphins.
Oh no, I haven't.
Okay.
I've only watched Blackfish, but that's the only. But that was the only place where a human got killed by a killer whale.
I think a human got killed there twice.
Bad treatment.
Yeah. But it's also their board. You can see, like, there was one guy that just escaped at I think it was the same place. And you could see the videos. And she was just playing with him. Pulled him down, let him get to the top and swim, then catch him again and pull him down. It's like a game.
It's a game.
And in the French one, that was the South African lady or researcher, she's looking at them and how they also grab a seagull, pull it under and let it go. Grab a seagull, pull it under, let it go. Or kill it and then don't eat it. Because they're playing, they're not hungry, they're playing. They're bored. And then some of them will go bashing or rubbing against the side of the tank because they're bored.
Shame.
It's very sad, yeah. It's like humans in prisons. You get bored.
Go
punch someone out or
go
a little loony.
And then they blame this poor animal for being aggressive, but there's nothing else.
I mean,
to do.
they're like innocent prisoners locked up. So so
hopefully that will go away.
Yeah, Shamu killed one of his trainers.
Yeah.
With that woman. I think I don't know if there was another death, but I know there was the guy that just barely survived. And he stayed calm, that's how he was a scuba diver, so he did the breathing technique because he knew he was gonna take him again. The killer whale was gonna take him again. So then he managed to just get away, not panic.
But the killer whale just played with him.
He's bored. Yeah. But see, that's the thing. That's where I think the only time that killer whales have actually killed are in aquariums. I mean, I know there's been accounts of attacks on boats, but that's because they remember. And these boats have killed their calves or something.
Yes.
So then they attack that specific boat, especially if they're residential in that area. Or they attack a boat that's like that boat that killed whatever. And that's the same with bottlenose dolphins. Like when I was in Ireland, there was one dolphin went nuts whenever this boat came because that boat ran over a calf.
Yeah.
One's calf.
So it remembers this boat.
So she goes nuts every time. Yeah, so...
For any boat or just that specific?
Just that specific boat.
Yeah, so that tells me they're very smart animals.
Yeah.
They can remember specific things. Well, they probably are, because we have probably similar brains. Because I would probably remember a specific boat if that boat fucking crashed against my child or something.
Remember the person that might have killed your child.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah.
Obviously, definitely. If you saw the person, you will. Yeah.
That's a sad note then.
Yeah, we got to end on that.
Oh.
Let's talk about something else first.
Another one.
I don't know.
Another question.
No, I just want to say I enjoy killer whales. That's what I'm going to say.
I do too.
They're just very cool animals.
I enjoy
I just want to see more, and I hope that they get better protected all around the world, and that more people can experience it. Because I feel like if you can experience and see how smart these animals are, you get just like I don't know, you just have more respect for them. Because I have more respect for them now. Well, I had respect for them before, because out of my background I was always I have been respectful for animals. But like, let's say for instance, someone who doesn't come out of that background, I just would like them to see or experience this maybe through a podcast or through a video or whatever, just to see these things are amazing. You know?
Yeah. And I think also the story
Mm.
is amazing. Like, everyone wants to relate. So I think the story of this is the mum and this is their story is amazing.
Yeah.
This is where they go, this is what they do, this is who they related to, these are their friends, social groups.
Definitely.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Okay, Megan.
Okay.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
I really enjoyed it. And yeah, and just keep up loving killer whales and loving dolphins.
I will.
And keep up with the good work.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you.
Thanks.